It was probably the closest collaborative artistic relationship of my entire life. I don't think people realise how much we used to all bounce ideas off each other. I was particularly close, obviously, to Thomas and Edward, one of the other engines, though there were a few issues with the Fat Controller towards the end of things. Morning, Batman.
Oi, Ricky, shut that bloody racket up.
Look right, look left, look right again. That's the Green Cross code, you know. And I mean, the Beatles have always been very responsible when it came to road safety. I mean, you only got to look at the cover of Abbey Road to see that. In fact, I did a public information film for the Green Cross people in the 70s. But I got clobbered by a Vauxhall Viva halfway across Regent Street, so they never showed it. They went with Alvin Stardust instead. And Kevin Keegan did one, you know, when I was still playing for Liverpool before he buggered off to Germany. And I remember Kev telling me he nearly fell foul of it when he got over there because he forgot to reverse the instructions, didn't he? You know, because obviously they drive on the wrong side of the road. Instead of, you know, you need to look left, look right, look left again. Well, he didn't, did he? And he nearly got taken out by a VW camper van. He's trying to cross some Strasse in bloody Dusseldorf. And not a lot of people know that.
Hey, Ringo! We love you, yeah, yeah, we love you, yeah.
Well, we were very close, you know, as a group of guys. We socialised a lot and we sort of relied on each other a lot. We sort of stood by each other a lot. So it was very much, you know, like the Three Musketeers, even though there were four of us. It was very much a one for all and all for one kind of attitude. So, you know, which one was I? I don't know. I think John was certainly, you know, Oliver Reed out of the gang, and George, I would say, was sort of the Richard Carpenter. Is it Richard Carpenter I'm thinking of, or is he the singer? Is he the guy who plays piano? What am I thinking of? He's the guy who was, you know, the Dr. Kildare guy. Of Richard Chamberlain, that's the guy. Yeah, I think George was definitely Richard Chamberlain. And then Paul was perhaps, you know, sort of Christopher Lee, I would say. Because Christopher Lee was in there, wasn't he? He was one of the Musketeers, I think. As for myself, I don't know. Who does that leave? I can't remember who the last one was now. Was it Albert Finney, was it? All right, yeah. So perhaps I'm Albert Finney, I don't know. But certainly, we're like the Three Musketeers, the four of us. And that was the thing, like I would say, with the MBEs. We got the MBEs sort of 65 when we were recording the Rubber Soul album. We sort of nipped off from Abbey Road down to Buckingham Palace, picked up the MBEs and went straight back to recording. But then, a couple of years later it was, 69, when John says, well, I'm sending my MBE back. So I think it was in a protest. I think it was the Vietnam War, or it could have been decimalisation, I'm not sure, but he was certainly upset about something and decided to send, you know, his MBE back. And so it's natural that that we would follow suit. And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll send mine back as well. I mean, the problem I had was that my MBE was in my mother's china cabinet. And I said to her, look, we're sending in the MBEs back. So can I get my MBE out of the cabinet? And she wouldn't let me have it back. You know, it was in there next to me sort of swimming certificates and stuff. And she didn't want to give me it back, so that left me with, you know, a bit of a problem, because we're all sending the MBEs back, and I can't get mine back off my mother. So what I ended up doing was one sort of Saturday morning, myself and Mal Evans, who was our sort of roadie, we went down to Portobello Road, you know, to the market stalls and the bric-a-brac stalls. And we had a look round, because you could pick stuff up off there, you know. So we had a look round and found this guy that sold coins and medals.
We said we were looking for an MBE, you know, so we had to dig around in his boxes and stuff, and he sorted us out with a medal.
As we thought. I think I paid about £2 for it, something like that. It was quite a bit of money in those days. And sort of stuck it in a package and with a little bit of a letter attached saying, look, John's sending his back, so I'm sending mine back, and sent it off. And then that was that. Until sort of about a week later, I got a letter from Buckingham Palace saying, you know, dear Mr. Starkey, because that's my real name. Dear Mr. Starkey, we're sorry that you felt you need to send your medal back. But we're a little bit confused because we didn't even know you'd served in the First World War. And as it turned out, myself and Mal, we'd only bought a bloody, you know, Royal Engineers medal from the First World War, and that's what we'd sent back instead of an MBE. Which was a little bit embarrassing,
As you can imagine.
McCartney's rubbish.
Well, the January of 1969, it wasn't a great time for the Beatles. We were at Twickenham recording what was supposed to be the Get Back album. But the atmosphere, it turned, well, quite a bit sour, really. And then George quit the band, partly because Paul was telling him how to play the guitar, but also because John was on this new macrobiotic diet and was getting quite a bit of unsavoury feedback from his bowels. I mean, you could bloody taste it some days. Anyway, after a bit, things got patched up, and it was decided that what we were going to do is put on a live show, you know, as a way to get the band sort of gluing back together. A few venues were chucked about, like some Roman thing out in the desert of Tunisia, of all places. And then somebody suggested the Cavern, but we couldn't agree. So as we sat there having this discussion, the radio was playing. And then all of a sudden, the Drifters came on. And it was the song, you know, Up on the Roof, which is a song that Carole King wrote, actually. And anyway, as the Drifters started playing, we all looked at each other in one of those, you know, symbiotic Beatle moments, as if, you know, the penny had dropped for us all at exactly the same moment. And then Paul said, "Hey guys, I've got it. Why don't we do it on the Mersey Ferry?"
Okay. Oh, it didn't work out the same because. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's all uncomfy, yeah. I've only got to be reminded of it. Okay. Oh.
birds just taking a shit on my drums.